Hey, waiting to get right, only leave you left behind. Up goes the early bird soaring down. Scrounge around for whatever worms might be obtainable.
You guys will never believe where I am at. I actually came back home for the first time in 3 years to Ohio. I flew into Columbus and then I'll be headed back to where I'm from, which is a small town called Springfield, Ohio. And in a weird way, kind of feels good to be back. The one thing about me is when I travel, I always like to try new things. Thank you so much.
Draw with that?
No thanks.
All right, have a good day.
Have a good day.
The ways of the things that we do, but hard to hold everyone who here accountable. Speaking of, stack it up till it's high as the stars in the skies. Always told to shine bright. You see, yeah.
This is crazy. There are entire housing developments that are built since I've been back last. I never thought I'd be that guy that leaves his hometown and never comes back, but here I am. I could have sworn there used to be a tattoo shop right there where I got my first tattoo at a place called Thin Lizzie's. I might be just on the wrong block. And then this is Main Street where I used to cruise my Honda Accord thinking I was real cool.
I'm cruising, how can you lose when your car stops but your rims keep on moving?
So I don't think anyone would consider Springfield, Ohio the food mecca of the world, but we have one spot called Mike and Rosie's. That's an absolute classic. I used to love eating here back in the day. It was always a treat when we got to go here. So I had to come back for nostalgic purposes. And also, I'm probably the first person to ever vlog in this city. You know, I always get nervous when I go somewhere that I used to really enjoy and wonder, did I actually like it or was it just good relative to the other options I had available to me? And I'm happy to say Mike and Rosie's, it is the real deal. When you plan your next vacation to Springfield, Ohio, make sure that is on the list. But I really gotta go back to the farm and check it out. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I have all these different mixed emotions. Feels, I can't explain it. You guys can see behind me, but the pool that I used to work out is now closed. That's super sad. We had so many good times out here. I was actually attached to this apartment complex and I worked out here for probably 2 or 3 summers and it was a great job. And that was only 10 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago at all. And that is one of the reasons I hate when people ask, what are you gonna be doing in 10 years? Because I mean, I was a cabana boy essentially at this time 10 years ago. So I think as long as you're progressing in the right direction, that's much more important than trying to figure out exactly what you're gonna be doing because you're probably gonna be wrong even if you try. I was gonna show you guys my old school, but literally it's gone. I don't know exactly what happened there, but it was like 100 years old when I went there, so I'm guessing it was time to go. Just a casual 1 million square foot warehouse that kind of popped up out of nowhere on the street that I grew up on. That's wild. And that is a prime example as to why I do not plan on selling any land ever, because if you do, you might not ever give it back. It's such a premium these days, and you really start to appreciate the country and having space, having land. It's just beautiful. So I made it to the farm, and I apologize. I have to make cringe-worthy, terrible video topics or titles so people click on it. That's my bad. It's just, you know, I gotta get the views, but we're here, so check it out. How peaceful is this? Just, I forgot how amazing it was to walk outside and not have neighbors being able to see you and hear you, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's beautiful out here. I love it, I love it. All right, so behind me is house number 2. I actually never lived in this house. It was being built while my mom was sick and it was becoming handicapped accessible to help her get around a little bit better, but unfortunately she did pass before she lived in there either, so my dad lived in there until he passed, and then it's right now, you know, working on getting that one rented out. So many good memories out here, riding dirt bikes, using the barn as my personal basketball stadium, picking sweet corn. I mean, all these things that really didn't seem that great at the time, you really appreciate them when you come back to visit. And I look around and everything here made me who I am today. And I don't think I would have wanted to grow up any other way. And you know, I couldn't wait to get out of here when I was, you know, 18, 19 years old. But you just start to appreciate things a little bit more as you get older. So this place is locked down like Fort Knox at all times when they're not here working. So I can't get in. I do want to show you guys before the weekend's up, but this is what I call the new barn. So much room for activities in there. And then we got the Quonset, or the old barn, which was there before I was even born. So this is where a lot of the action happens. We did sell off essentially all the farming equipment, the combines, the tractors. I think I'm left with maybe one tractor, an ATV, a motorcycle if anybody's trying to buy a motorcycle. But this is where, you know, the fun happens. One of my favorite things to do as a kid was just to climb up there for no reason. It's not like I was climbing in the grain bins. I wasn't that adventurous, but you know, and during good times, all filled up with grain. And then over here, as you see, leads into the other house. And this is actually where I grew up. And there's someone renting this right now. So I don't know how, you know, I don't want to intrude on this guy. He doesn't even know who I am. So that might be kind of awkward. But we do have another barn right here, some more grain bins. And I used to love mowing the grass. I don't know why. Now, you know, I pay somebody to mow my grass for me, but it was so therapeutic at the time when I was younger, didn't have a whole lot of responsibilities. Plus I made a little bit of money on the side, so that was always nice. It gave me an excuse to do stupid things with that Honda Accord. Oh my goodness. I really wish I could take you into the house that I grew up in. So many memories there. And then in this barn, there's a boat back there. You guys probably can't see that. I don't know whose that is. I think that's maybe one of the last tractors left. That might not even be mine, to be honest. Man, what if I just rolled up in this dude's house like, knock, 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 hey, I'm your landlord, let me in? I don't think he'd appreciate that too much. So let me just show you guys real quick. One of the non-negotiables that I had when I went to buy my own house was having an attached garage. Because you can see here, there's the garage, then there's the house over there. So if it was raining or cold, it just wasn't an ideal situation to transport anything from car to house. Little things, you know, I mean, first world problems, of course, but man, they've really cleaned this place up a lot. As you can see, even the deck is finished. I don't know, Greg might be able to find some old clips of the farm, but it honestly looks better than it ever has. Well, I'll be damned, somebody came in and cleaned this place up. I have no idea who did that, but it actually doesn't look too bad compared to the last time I was here. The other must-have when I was buying a house was more than one bathroom. You can't even imagine how many fights this caused just having one. It was miserable in the mornings. Oh man, this couch is still here. This is the same couch that we had the entire time I lived here, probably 17 or 18 years. And this right here is the room that I spent all my time. That was my mom's bed. She slept on the couch or her chair that used to be right there. The Christmas tree was honestly up for about 8 years. It's a long story as to why it never came down. And then this desk back here is where I just lived when I came home on the weekends, studied my life away, hung out with my mom. Very, very convenient. Apparently this room missed the cleaning, but the first thing I noticed when I walk in, besides Eminem, the John Young mixtape. If you guys had MySpace, you know exactly who John Young is. Fancy TV right there. I was just living the high life, man. A lot of good memories in this house, a lot of bad memories, a lot of things I would never want to relive, but I feel like you have to embrace where you're from. Even if you're not proud of it, even if you never want to go back, it's going to be part of you, obviously. So I know to a lot of people, this might not be much. It's no Beverly Hills mansion that you see on Instagram every now and again, but I look around and I see there's actual food being planted into the ground that gets harvested out, and this is the soul of America. And oh my goodness, I just love it. It's beautiful. I'm just so proud of where I'm from, and I can take no credit for this, of course. I was just born into it. My dad happened to be a farmer, and I have little to nothing to do with any of it still today. But I'm just proud. I'm proud of what it is. So the reason that I don't come back to Ohio very often, if I'm being honest with myself, it's because there's a lot of things that I have to face head on when I'm here. And although there's been some amazing memories, there's also some not so great things that went on here. The highest points of my life and the lowest points of my life have all happened, you know, right here in this vicinity that I'm standing right now. And I am not saying this is how you should deal with your problems, but I know for me personally, what I do is I work a lot, I numb out, and I don't have to sit there with my feelings. And for me, that works. It's not right. I'm just saying I call a spade a spade. That is how I deal with things. And then coming back here, I'm not saying there's like traumatic things that went on, but there's some things that will stick with me forever, that shape me into the person that I am today, that I try just kind of to block out. And maybe, you know, being here is a good thing for me to actually sit here with it and digest it and be okay with it, because At the lowest point in my life, when I thought things could never get any worse and I thought I was never gonna make it through, I did. And I hope anyone watching this right now that's in that same position, that's at a stage where they don't think they're gonna be able to make it, and they think that this is just the end, it's not. You know, I went on to live an amazing life. I still live an amazing life, even though at the time I thought life was over. You know, my friends and I used to get made fun of a little bit for going to Wright State University for college. They would say, Wright State, wrong school. Because in Ohio, if you don't go to the Ohio State, you are nothing. But I think we turned out okay. That was officially the longest I have ever been away from young Alfredo. I think he missed me. What do you guys think? That was quite the weedy greedy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, I missed you. I missed you so much. Oh, buddy.
Did you miss me? Oh, thank you. Oh, the sweetest little boy. Now, did anyone else miss me?
I did.
How you feeling, baby mama?
Good.
You know what? This week we get to see him.
I know.
Yeah. 19 weeks. Wait, 20 or 19?
Oh, you're 20.
20? Hey, buddy. I think Alfie's excited to be a brother.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is actually gonna be the end of the video. I was gonna record a little bit more in Ohio, but sometimes I like to be present, and it's really hard to do that with the camera in front of my face all the time, and given that I don't make it back very often, and I was with people I don't often get to see, I just wanted to enjoy it, so hopefully you all understand. But if you follow me on Instagram, you know, you would have seen the behind the scenes footage. It was an amazing trip. It was great. I do need to go back much more often, so hold me accountable. But thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch. You could have been doing anything in the entire world, and you chose to spend a few minutes with me. That is pretty awesome. Please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I look forward to talking to y'all next time.